Ladies and gentlemen, the following episode is scheduled for one fall. Coming down the aisle are your hosts of In The Kliq, Baby Huey and Ryan Tronic.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and in for Brian Tronic is my buddy Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Great to be here. Hasn't done anything with you in a while, so it's good to catch up and talk wrestling together.
Absolutely. Thank you for making the last minute submission. Oh, it's a submission substitute. No, we're not submitting people right now, but no, making the submission. Oh my God, I said submission again. Substitute for Brian. Brian is busy right now, but I do apologize to all the Kliqsters out there. It's been a minute since we've had like a full-blown episode breaking down all the wrestling news, the highlights from Raw and SmackDown. I do apologize. I've been busy myself with a lot of work-related stuff. I've been telling my coworkers, October really has been Rocktober here in the Bay Area. There's been so many concerts and events.
Yeah. And just we get the commercials here for it sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, especially on Fox for some reason. I've seen some of them. The advertisements.
Yeah, no, so for me, it's just been really busy, just so many different events going to and just stuff at work. So the last few weeks have been really busy. So finding time to sit down and record a new episode on top of, but I like to think I made up for it with a lot of interviews as of late. So please, if you haven't done so yet, after you listen to this episode, go back and listen to my latest set of interviews. I think, was it last month, had Dolph Ziggler, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Tony Khan, and let's see, Lana, aka CJ Perry recently. So a lot of interviews. If you haven't done so yet, go please listen to those interviews. But yeah, back at it for a regular episode of In The Kliq. So much to get into. We'll get into the Kliqbait news. We'll go over within the ropes all the highlights from Raw and SmackDown from this past week. But like I said, Tim, thank you again for making the fill-in for Brian. And we'll get Brian back on in a future episode. So let's jump right into the Kliqbait news. There's so much to talk about. I feel like for me, since I haven't recorded like a full-blown episode in a minute, I feel like all this major news has happened in the last few weeks, and I'm like, I need to sit down and record. I want to give my thoughts, give my opinions out there. So we're finally going to do it. And actually something, Tim, you just brought to me that just came out, I think today, concerning the Elite. So please, can you share that news?
So there's a new report from Fightful. They've been on top of the CM Punk Elite stuff for a little while, where they basically stated that there are some that believe that the Elite could be coming back soon. They had a line in the report that stated, quote, one source said they heard it could happen imminently. That's in reference to Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks returning either to television, or it also says just returning to work, maybe just in a backstage role at the moment.
Okay.
They said, yet nobody we heard from can definitely tell us when it's expected. There hasn't been any full indication on when they can return to TV. So the report does say that them returning to work, whether that is on television or maybe just in a backstage capacity.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, the term imminent, we were talking off the air, it can be very subjective because, depending who's saying that and how it's being phrased, it's like, okay, well, tonight is Dynamite, brand new episode of Dynamite. So could it be tonight? Or could it be next week, the week after, 2-3 weeks? Who knows? I mean, I would hope, maybe tonight. That'd be kind of cool, a little surprise or something. But I guess for me, hearing that news, the timing seems pretty accurate as far as, was it Meltzer said recently, like the whole investigation is kind of wrapping up concerning the brawl out from Fallout?
The Meltzer stuff is interesting because at one point recently, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, he said the investigation has everything on hold. But then when he came with the buyout news, he said because they're working on the buyout, which they're just waiting on basically the final terms of the buyout. I guess like Tony wants a big non-compete on Punk. Punk maybe wants a shorter one. No one knows exactly what's going to go happen with that. But he said because the buyout is now in play, maybe that means, and I think Meltzer was being a little more subjective than reporter.
Okay.
Since the buyout's in play, maybe that can speed up Kenny and the Bucks coming back.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a lot of people, I'll say right now, I tweet this all the time. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize the difference of Meltzer's reporting something or Meltzer's giving his opinion, what he thinks can happen.
Yeah, I know a lot of times when he's, doing Wrestling Observer Radio, like he'll start talking maybe things he's hearing, but then he'll mix in his opinion. Yep. And a lot of times people will kind of combine that all into one big report from him. Yeah. And, people get kind of confused of that little gray area of him just, giving his opinion and think that's fact. So, it's interesting, like you said, with the timing of this. I mean, I would love to see the Elite back on TV. I miss seeing them. It's been almost 7 weeks since Labor Day weekend when All Out happened and the whole backstage brawl with Ace Steel and CM Punk and all that happened. So it's hopefully by now they got everything done and wrapped up with the investigation. And yes, we can hopefully see them back on TV.
About 8.5 weeks. So you're close there. So,
wow. Yeah. But for me, it's like, I mean, granted, AEW, to their credit, they've been keeping storylines going. MJF's storyline's really taking off now. Moxley, Hangman, their match last week, unfortunately ended with Hangman with the concussion. But, they've been doing their best just to keep their machine going and trying to keep moving along. But I do feel like it's missing something, especially Kenny just came back right before All Out. They win the trios title and then boom, they're gone and off TV. And unless you're like us who follow all the news and report or talk about it, if you're the casual fan, you're probably like, wait a sec, what happened to those guys? They just disappeared off my weekly television.
And that is something that a lot of people have been critical of Tony Khan for, especially Dave Meltzer, who he's been really critical on this as far as he goes. And I've said the same thing. Tony can't say certain things because there's possible legal stuff pending.
Yeah.
But he should have at least said something along the lines of an incident took place backstage. X, Y, Z wrestlers have been suspended. That's why you won't see him on their TV. He doesn't have to give any details. He doesn't have to say what happened. All he needs to say is an altercation or an incident took place backstage. Now, because of that, these 4 people, 5 if you count Ace Steel or whatever, have been suspended. We will give you updates down the line once we can say more. But he said nothing to the point where people just think they were written off TV or just Tony's got nothing for him. It's like a Vince move. Oh, you disappeared? I got nothing for you. Like, hey, you have nothing for CM Punk, Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega.
I know, exactly. So that's my concern too. If you're an AEW casual fan, you're probably like, wait a sec, where all these guys go? Like, Kenny made the big return, early August.
3 matches.
Yeah, he came on TV. The storyline he was trying to tell, he's a little rusty. He's trying to get back into the groove of things, little winded in the ring, and then led to their match at All Out, win the trios title, and then boom, they're gone again. Right. So if you're a Kenny Omega fan, you're like, what? He had 3 matches, now he's gone again. And so, I'm with you. I wish Tony Khan would have expressed and say, hey, everyone, AEW owner here, Tony Khan. As you just mentioned, that all these people involved, incident happened, they're going to be off TV for a while. Just to give, just be a little honest and upfront about what's going on there. But with that report,
with how transparent he's been in the past with the fan base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, with the timing of Meltzer saying kind of the investigation is wrapping up, which it seems like it's been going on forever. If it's people have been questioning how thorough of an investigation it is, but the fact that now this report, the Elite are imminent to return, it makes you the correlation there, the timing. It looks like, the investigation is wrapping up as well. So hopefully that means the investigation's done, then those guys can come back. So I can't wait to see them back. I'm sure they're going to go after those trios titles right away. And I'm looking forward to it.
The one thing I've been thinking of all of this, and maybe why Tony could have been very vague, but maybe why it's not been mentioned on television or in different interviews is maybe Punk is looking for the buyout or there's legal stuff pending. And if, say for some reason, Tony has commentary mention this and they maybe slightly talk about the Young Bucks more than CM Punk then maybe can go, oh, favoritism, and then that could work in his favor. Oh, you want to talk about them, but you're not going to talk much about me, or you're going to say these guys and this and that. So it's like, I get why there's not a lot you can say because you don't want to say the wrong thing and then have it play in somebody else's favor against you. So there is that as well. It's like, do you mention it on TV? How much do you mention it on TV? And what that can be said can be pulled back against you.
Yeah.
If there is legal stuff going on, and we don't know what that legal stuff is. It's just legal proceedings possibly happening, legal ramifications.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess, makes something extra to look out for on Dynamite tonight and see if the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega show up. So, but yeah, like I said, I miss them. I miss seeing them on my TV. And so, yeah, looking forward to see what they can do next. But speaking along those lines, as far as CM Punk and the buyout, that's something that also kind of came out this week with the news that, AEW has been in talks with CM Punk with the buyout as far as the last 2 years of his contract. But the thing that's kind of hanging everything up is just, as you mentioned, the non-compete and how long that is. So I guess, Tim, I'll throw it to you as far as, your thoughts on, looks like the CM Punk era in AEW is officially over. Yeah. With that being said, with the buyout, your thoughts on that. And then also, with that being said, everyone is starting to speculate, oh my God, is this going to lead to a return to WWE? Should he go to WWE? So the two-part here. So, Tim, we'll start with the first part. Just your thoughts on, looks like the CM Punk era in AEW is over.
So we know CM Punk's getting paid good money. We don't know how much money that is. You said 2 more years left on his contract. For all we know, there could be 4 more years. We don't know if he signed a 3-year deal. We don't know if he signed a 5-year deal. But we know it's for big money. And if Tony's looking to do this buyout, Tony's going to fork up a lot of cheddar right now. He's going to give him a lot of money to say, we're done with you. And I mean, you could just see the way people have talked about CM Punk differently from when he started a year ago to now. Yeah. That's the thing. It's been 13, 14 months max.
Yeah.
That's it. Everyone was super happy. They were saying that day when Punk returned, he was talking with everybody backstage, shaking hands, high-fiving. There were some that, worked with them in the past. I'm a little skeptical. Okay. But then you hear more and more, he's keeping to himself. He's being a little rude to different people that he was cool with before. He's in favor of this. He doesn't want to do that. He's in Tony's ear about this is what I should be. You know what I mean? You've seen the, I don't want to say dynamic, maybe that's not the right word, but you've seen the thought process on him coming in, almost do a full 180.
Which God, as you just mentioned, like he's only been there, barely 13 months. I mean, August 2021, I remember, I was in Vegas for SummerSlam, and that Friday night I was watching Dynamite live in my hotel room, and then when he showed up, and it was like, oh my God, it's been 7.5 years since he's wrestled or been in a ring. And just the buzz that night, just that pop and the reaction online, everyone was super happy and excited to see CM Punk back in pro wrestling. And as you just said, now jump ahead over a year later in the complete 180. It's shocking. It's mind-boggling to me, and I'm bummed out that it's ending like this. Right. That this big return is now going away. I mean, I think we all thought he was going to wrestle for a few years with AEW, have all these dream matches, do stuff maybe with New Japan, maybe do stuff with under the Ring of Honor brand. I mean, just the possibilities in these dream matches for all of us fans. It was just the fantasy book, and think about, and now the fact that that's all gone now, it's very sad. I'm really bummed, but granted, I get it. What he did at All Out, not right. I mean, I don't know personally your thoughts on that, but yeah, if he was frustrated with stuff behind the scenes, people leaking stuff to the press, if he's mad at certain people, Hangman specifically, for things he said in a promo, kind of taking Colt Cabana's side, all that drama, I think CM Punk could have handled things better. He could have done a better job of dealing with this behind closed doors and being a little more professional. So I get it. If he threw the first punch, if Ace Steel threw a chair at Matt Jackson, Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega, all that stuff, I get it. You don't want these toxic people on your roster in that locker room. So I get it. With that being said, you got to let them go and fire them. And, Ace Steel, was it last week, Meltzer said, he's gone from the company now. So I wonder, and Tim, I don't know if you would know this, is the whole buyout with CM Punk, is this his punishment for that fight? Like they're just firing him, but with that being said, they're figuring out buyout? Or is it a situation where he's like, okay, if you're going to fire my best friend Ace Steel, I don't want to be here anymore, so let's figure out a buyout. I kind of wonder what's stemming this buyout. Like, is it a punishment for that fight? You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of wondering what's this all coming from.
I don't know per se, but if I was just trying to make an educated guess, I would think almost both. That, a lot of people are soured on CM Punk in AEW. Yeah. They've seen his demeanor change. They've seen his attitude change more to I'm all about us as a company and putting over the young guys, helping the young guys. And it's now all about me, CM Punk, myself. So it could be a little bit of Tony didn't like what he did at the press conference, the scrum, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then what happened preceding that the same night. So Tony could say, you know what? No, we don't want you around here anymore. Let's do what we got to do to get you out. And then maybe CM Punk was like, oh, you're going to fire Ace over this?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be here either. So maybe it's a mutual buyout. Because the only thing with the buyout is we know that apparently he's got a guaranteed contract where he's got to be paid either way. He's got that Johnny Depp Harry Potter contract where Johnny Depp got paid for that Fantastic Beast movie. His contract said, as long as I work 1 minute, as long as I record something for 1 minute, I get my entire contract, whether I film the whole movie or not.
Wow. So, I mean, that's the thing. Maybe it's a situation where, they want to fire him, but with the guaranteed contract, it's like, okay, let's figure out a buyout for you. And then, so no, like I said, it's just such a bummer because, I am a CM Punk fan and I want to see, I did miss seeing him in a ring after all these years. And I was excited to see, the possibilities, like I said a second ago, like, him and, Bryan Danielson again in the ring and, could he do some stuff with New Japan, like against Okada and like these, all these different dream scenarios and matches we could have got. I thought we were going to play out for the next few years, but now it's not going to happen.
He was supposed to wrestle Tanahashi at Forbidden Door, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, so it's just a bummer that it's ending like this, and we'll just tarnish his legacy. This is like the last thing people are going to remember of him, and that's a whole other debate. But the other half of this I wanted to get your thoughts on is like, okay, now the big holdup here is the non-compete. I'm kind of curious. I would love to know what's the holdup. Is it like does AEW trying to? I wonder how long that non-compete is. I wonder if AEW said like 1 year you can't show up anywhere else, or maybe he wants like 90 days or something. I'm fascinated. How long is this non-compete and where both sides of this stand on this? So, but with that being said, if you're CM Punk, what do you do next? Like, does he just say, listen, I'm done with wrestling as a whole. I got burnt again here. You know what? I'm just never going to wrestle again. Or does he go to WWE? Like, I don't know. For me, I'm really torn here. I know a lot of people are speculating, could he go back to WWE? And then you and I were talking earlier off air. So it looks like reports are saying originally Triple H was telling people he didn't want nothing to do with CM Punk, but now that's kind of lightened up a bit. And maybe he is a little bit warmer to the idea of CM Punk coming back to WWE. So
a little bit. The report says that as of July, Triple H wanted nothing to do with him, but the door's not closed. So there's like a 5% chance, that sounds like to me. But even with Punk, it's like, okay, he's got the leverage play here if WWE wants him, because what big of a coup would this be for Triple H to go, I got Punk after AEW didn't want him. Now I got him. Then Punk's got all the leverage saying, here's what I want. Here's what you got to give me, because I could just go home and sit on my big stack of cash and not have to work anymore. I'll go write my Marvel comics and have fun with that.
That's the thing. If I'm CM Punk, it's like, okay, if he gets bought out the last couple of years contract, and if he's good with his money, which reportedly he is, he's really saves up.
I mean, I would say he's getting no less than $3 million a year, if not more. So if you say at least 2 years of that, if not, that's anywhere from $6 to $12 million he's going to get paid out.
Exactly, because I think the reports were Jericho was $3 million a year, and CM Punk is making more than that. So let's just say let's say the baseline is 3. Let's say if he makes more than Jericho, let's say if it's $4 million. Just hypothetically, this is all alleged, speculation.
Right.
So let's say it's 4 years. I'm sorry, 2 years. Let's say 2 more years on the contract, just a guess for $3 to $4 million. Yeah, that's $6 to $8 million he could be getting paid. Yeah, and if he's good with his money, he can live off that for years if he's, is frugal. Yeah.
He hasn't been doing anything that we know of major to make that much money for the 7 years. So he's, so it's not like, he's working on that we know of.
Yeah.
Off of $1 million contracts anywhere else. He's been doing some, he's been writing comic books for Marvel. He's done some B-list independent movies or whatever, but I doubt he's making them. And I could be wrong here, making $1 million a year off any of that. So it's like he's already living below that maybe anyways.
I guess for me, the question is, if you're CM Punk, do you want to go to back to WWE? I mean, I guess from an ego standpoint, I could be like, listen, I don't want my last impression with the wrestling fans that I'm this problem child. I had this big fallout with AEW, and that's the last thing people remember me. I want to go out on a good note, on a high note. So let me work with WWE, have a fun run there, and retire, and then that's the last thing people remember of me. Or then again, he could be like, you know what, screw it. I got burned from the company, from the industry again. I don't have to deal with this anymore. I don't need this stress anymore. I'm just done. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I mean, so I'm kind of curious where his head is in this situation.
WrestleMania is now 2 nights. If I was Punk, I'd say, hey, to come back, I want the one thing I never got, a WrestleMania main event, whether that's night 1 or night 2. Mm-hmm. And for all we know, he's super pissed off at Tony Khan. He can go, yeah, I'll go work for that con instead of the other con that burned me.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is like, okay, now let's look at it from the side of WWE. Do you bring in CM Punk? I mean, he does have
not full time.
Yeah, I was thinking if you bring him in like an Edge type deal, like a part-time.
I would bring him in like a Goldberg.
Okay.
Saudi shows in Mania, so he's there 5 weeks a year.
Gotcha. Okay, and hey, he's in his mid 40s now, so. And he's injury prone, so you don't want to overdo it. So yeah, I'm with you. Maybe a couple big matches a year, extremely part-time schedule.
I wasn't even saying injury prone. I was saying you have him there part-time so that way he can't piss anybody off backstage as often. And people can't get sick and tired of him and go, God, this guy's here every week pissing everybody off. At least if he's pissing somebody off, it's only like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, they know, all right, he'll be gone soon enough. We'll bite our tongue and get through this, and he'll be gone soon. But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, if they do bring him back like on a really part-time basis, yeah, give him his own locker room, something away from everyone. You don't want to have that toxicity leak into the locker room, the main locker room, because from everything we've been hearing in the last 3 months of the Triple H era, it seems like things have really turned around for the better. So yeah,
right.
I get it. For if you're Triple H, and I know Triple H doesn't think too highly of CM Punk. We all know that. That's been reported and documented. But at the same time, Triple H is a businessman, and he's probably thinking, I gotta, what's my job? Is like come up creative here. These storylines, I gotta, keep the ratings up, if not improve the ratings. We got TV deals coming up soon. I want to get ratings up, so when I negotiate new TV deals, to be like, look at these amazing ratings I bring to you. You got to pay up. So I can see him from a business standpoint. Let's bring CM Punk in. Let's get some buzz going with WWE, and that will help us out long term from a business standpoint. And we know he's helped Vince in the past, kind of patch up strain relationships with other wrestlers over the years. Bruno, other wrestlers related to the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. So I could see Triple H be like, let me be the bigger person here and look at the big picture of what this company needs right now. And yeah, it could be a great way to stick it to AEW as far as, I brought CM Punk in. I got him back. And let's keep in mind, CM Punk does have a rich history with WWE. He was one of the longest modern day reigning champions.
Over 400 days.
Yeah, and there's so many video packages they could create with old CM Punk footage. And like, that's the thing. We were talking about all the dream matches in AEW that we were hoping for. There's a lot of fresh matchups he can have in WWE with the current roster. So it works either way. So I don't know. Like, I'm torn. Like,
do you remember what CM Punk said when he found out Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor?
I'm glad he got it and not the other guys.
I'm glad my legacy is in the right hands of someone that won't use it just to throw it on another square on a streaming service or something.
A tab on the network. Yeah, a tab on a bad streaming service. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Man, it's just frustrating that Punk at times, comes off like this to the public and the media. So we're all fans of him and I want to see him on TV. And like I said, I just don't want him as a fan. I don't want him to go out like that. I want him to go out on top. And yeah, maybe that's part of the negotiations. Like, here, let me work a part-time schedule with WWE. All I ask is, give me a main event one of the nights of WrestleMania. Hell, have some fun. Bring back ice cream bars with WWE. Bring back some of the old ones there. I don't know.
He paid for those ice cream bars.
The one in Chicago. Yeah. Man, so I think at the end of the day, it's just where CM Punk's head at and what does he want out of life and his career. So I want to be, I want to be hopeful that if he does return to WWE, it will be a lot better than how things end in AEW as a fan.
Very true. Very true.
We'll see what happens. So, also next up, another bit of news that came out today was Hell in a Cell going away. Tim, do you have more about that? Hell in a Cell being removed as a pay-per-view.
So according to, and this is another one from WrestleVotes in his new, I guess you could say, affiliation with Give Me Sports and Louis Dangor.
Yeah.
He basically said the show itself, I think, is completely dead. The match, from what I understand, means a lot to Hunter. Just think of the classics that he's had in there. Roman and Jay. So they're feuding for 6 weeks. They got to be there now because, well, the calendar says so. That's not going to happen anymore. Basically, WrestleVotes is stating that, Triple H wants to bring the meaningfulness of Hell in a Cell back. And when you have a, quote, Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and it's just, we got to book a Hell in a Cell match because that's what this pay-per-view is, it almost makes the match itself being, the final battle, the end game, whatever you want to call it, important, not important. I mean, Fox got upset or something along the lines of, oh, well, Raw's got a Hell in a Cell match and we don't on the pay-per-view. So what did they do? They just put Ray versus Roman on SmackDown inside Hell in a Cell randomly. So I'm in agreement with this. And then I think it was Brian Alvarez a couple of weeks also stated shakeups will be coming to the 2023 pay-per-view schedule or premium live event schedule. And some of what we know as gimmick pay-per-views could be going away. And this could be the first one we know of.
Yeah, which I'm super excited for. That's a two-part here as well. So yeah, as far as Hell in a Cell going away as a dedicated pay-per-view, I'm all for it. Like you just said, how many times in recent years you could just tell they're just forcing just a random match into a Hell in a Cell, which really didn't call for it. When I think of Hell in a Cell, I think of it's like there's this blood feud that's just been going on for months, whatever, and like the final battle needs to be settled in a Hell in a Cell. Like it just calls for it. It just, we need to. There's no other way to resolve this feud. That these two need to take it out in Hell in a Cell, and that's it. They don't wrestle each other ever again, or whatever the case may be. But it hasn't been like that, in the last few years. It's just been like, oh my God, Hell in a Cell's coming up on the calendar in 3 weeks. Okay, what current storylines do we have? All right,
CM Punk and Ryback.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, what current feuds do we have that we can just force into Hell? All right, you guys, you're gonna have a Hell in a Cell match. You're the one of the storylines going right now. Which it felt uncalled for or didn't feel right or natural to lead that way. And yeah, there's been so many examples of that in recent years where it's like
since 2009 they've been running the quote Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Yeah, and it's a little burnt out. Like in general, like the Hell in a Cell match. I mean, there's been some amazing matches in recent years.
Here's a stat for you. Before the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, there had only ever been 16 Hell in a Cell matches.
Before up to 2009.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the first? The first one was, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Well, my question is going to be, how many do you think there have been in total now?
Oh, God. Well, you think what, in the last 13 years, they've been averaging at least one a year, some of them two a show. It's got to be over 40 something, I would guess. Fire 50 something?
51 Hell in a Cell matches.
Oh my God.
So since they started the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 happened outside of a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which we talked about the one Ray and Roman at SmackDown, which that was kind of like Fox asked for it. They got it because the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was coming up or whatever. And then also Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods last year.
Oh, yeah, with Big E. And
USA got mad because, why does Fox get a Hell in a Cell match and we don't?
That's right. And was it Big E was standing outside, like getting pissed? That's right. Okay, I remember that one.
And then we had Edge and Seth last year at Crown Jewel, which they were in a good feud that warranted Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Oh, my God, I forgot about that.
And then, let's see, what other ones? Undertaker and Shane McMahon, WrestleMania 32. That match didn't need to be Hell in a Cell, but hey, it's an Undertaker WrestleMania match. Why not?
And Shane took the big fall off the side of the cage.
Yep.
I remember that one.
And then we also had WrestleMania 29, Undertaker and Triple H.
Yeah. Is that the one Shawn was the ref?
Right.
Guest ref. Okay.
And then the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view before that, but it's really, and there's apparently there was a dark 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-way. There was a after a Monday Night Raw in 2011. I didn't even know about this. There was a 5-man match for the WWE Championship inside Hell in a Cell. What?
Man,
dark Hell in a Cell. Okay.
Yeah, like for me, like I said,
Jack Swagger, CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, Del Rio, and Cena.
Oh my God. Well, like I said,
we the people.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Like, I mean, Hell in a Cell, I love the concept, but I think it's lost its prestige. It lost like what made it special because it's been overused so much, as you just mentioned, the stats there, how often we've seen it over the last 2 decades. I think it's burnt out a little bit. So I'm all for it taking off as a dedicated pay-per-view, and either, we don't see it for a couple years, or just save it for like once a year as a part of another pay-per-view when the feud calls for it. When like two people are like, they've been going at it for months and like they're pissed off, and like the only solution to end this feud is in a Hell in a Cell. That's when it makes sense.
Like Edge and Seth last year.
Exactly. So, or even you can, Cody and Seth.
This year, yeah, true.
It was a short feud because really it was just it was like over 2 months. But by that third match, they really, laid into each other over, WrestleMania, Backlash, and on Raw those few weeks. So, for a short feud storyline, it definitely called for it. But yeah, no, I'm all for taking it off and just save it and just, only bring it out when it calls for it. And it makes it special. Like, let's say they have a random pay-per-view, in the fall time or something, and like, okay, let's do Hell in a Cell here, or whenever they want to bring it out, or just maybe like keep it away for a couple years and just let people miss it. So when they do bring it back, it makes it extra special. So,
right, and that's and my question to you is, they're doing War Games, the Survivor Series, where we know Survivor Series is War Games, so it's like, is that kind of shoehorning it in there? It's like, what is going to be the match? I assume the women's match is Damage Control against Bianca and a crew.
Yeah,
but it's like, is that another thing like Hell in a Cell where it's like, we said this type of match is at this show, so it has to happen. Who do we throw in there,
And that is a good point, though. With War Games now on the books, on the main roster this November, it's like, okay, I know Triple H says he wants to have it more storyline driven than versus brand. But with that being said, you're going to see after Crown Jewel, okay, probably they're going to really start taking shape of who's going to be in that War Games. But it is, you can make the argument it is a little forced because it's like, okay, it's coming up in 3 weeks. Let's start building this up.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's only 3 weeks. Like, you don't even have time to build storyline with that. And so, like, now my other question to you is, do you get rid of all the gimmick pay-per-views? Like, say, Extreme Rules?
Yes, I'm for get rid of all of them.
So here's the thing with Extreme Rules this year. So at Extreme Rules, Bayley took on Bianca for the title in a ladder match. Mm-hmm. Then that's the first match. Like, since Bayley's been back, that's the first singles match, Bianca Bayley. Ladder match. Mm-hmm. And then what happens this week on Raw? Just a plain old singles match? How are you supposed to care for the singles match when the first match was a ladder match?
Exactly.
Granted, they gave them time on Raw, and the match itself was good until Nikki Cross interrupted. Mm-hmm. But it's like, why are we supposed to care after 2.5 hours of the show when you go, well, Bianca won last time, and that was a ladder match, so can it be even better than the ladder match? Or do I care?
Yeah.
That's the other thing when you have Extreme Rules, because if, say, that was just, I don't know, an Unforgiven pay-per-view, and that could have just been any match, and then you lead to the ladder match, not, well, it's Hell in a, or it's Extreme Rules, so we have to have a gimmick, and then if we do any more after this, do we do another gimmick? Do we just do a straight up? Like, that's the other bad thing about it too.
Yeah, well, what you just brought up, they did a little reverse engineering on their part, which kind of, screws them up a little bit from a story standpoint. Emotionally, as a fan, why do I care? Right. When you start with the big gimmick pay-per-view match first, and then you work your way backwards? It should be the other way around. But I'm with you as far as, okay, let's talk about big picture here. Yeah, get rid of all the gimmick pay-per-views. I mean, I guess next year they're keeping Elimination Chamber, which I'm all for that, being in February. That's like the second option.
Well,
like Royal Rumble winner gets a title shot. And usually, Raw and SmackDown have individual champions. So Royal Rumble decides who they want to wrestle. And then, like, Elimination Chamber is like the winner of that gets like the second option, the other champion.
Well, now you can do Rumble is night 1, Chamber night 2, or vice versa. Yeah. And that's the thing with Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber has never been feud driven. It's always been earn your way in to fight for the title or the WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where the Elimination Chamber, quote, gimmick pay-per-view works because it's never been story driven.
Yeah, it's selected.
To an extent. There was once when there was like the 6-man versus 6-man thing, and they tried to pit like Evolution against, was it Jericho, Goldberg, and somebody else or something?
Yeah.
Nash was in that maybe.
Oh my God. Let me just, okay, I just want to double check. What was it this year? So let's just, which pay-per-views will be taken away?
I mean, they've already got rid of TLC.
Okay, yeah. So TLC will be going away if they're getting rid of all gimmick pay-per-views. So yeah, TLC, as we mentioned, Extreme Rules should go away. What was the other one we just said? Hell in a Cell. What about Money in the Bank? Would you put Money in the Bank in that same conversation?
I would like for Money in the Bank to go back to Mania.
Yeah.
But now that there's 2 Money in the Bank matches, one for the men, one for the women, I think it suits itself better as its own show. If there was just one Money in the Bank ladder match like back in the past, that's fine. But you don't need 2 of those filling up the WrestleMania card.
Well, how about this? And I'm glad we're talking about this Hell in a Cell report. The other report or rumor within the last couple of days is Triple H wants to maybe bring back King of the Ring. So could you potentially have King of the Ring in June, and that can replace Money in the Bank? And you do King of the Ring. Now, King of the Ring, I like when it was a one-night tournament, but now you have King of the Ring and the Queen. I would say Queen of the Ring, but they call
Queen's
it
Crown.
Queen's Crown. If you do 8 matches each, that's 16 matches in one night. That's way too long for a WWE pay-per-view.
I know for the last couple of years that they would do the King of the Ring itself pay-per-view. It would be like the semifinals and the finals.
Yeah, so I'm all for that. Maybe
make you work twice.
Yeah, so if they do bring back a King of the Ring pay-per-view, but they want to do men and women, do semifinals and finals for each one. So that's That's what, 8 right there?
When they did that Best in the World tournament, you had to work 2 matches on the Saudi show that night.
And I'm all for then if they want to do opening round, second round on Raw and SmackDown, like qualifying, building up for a few weeks leading up to the pay-per-view. I'm all for that. And then the night of King of the Ring pay-per-view, they have men and women, semifinals and finals, and that could fill up the whole card and maybe have a couple title matches on there as well to fill out the whole show. I'm all for that. So I'm all for if they want to take away Money in the Bank. And now, granted, Money in the Bank is treated like the 5th biggest pay-per-view of the year. So you know, I know a lot of people like that pay-per-view, but I like your idea is like, I wish they could maybe just put it back at WrestleMania. So maybe that's the trade-off.
Well, see, the reason I like it at Mania is because the whole Mania is supposed to be our start and stop. The year ends at Mania and also starts at Mania. So why can't? So that contract should go Mania to Mania.
Yeah.
If so Mania is the big start and stop.
Yeah, I always thought WrestleMania should be like the season finale of a show, and then the Raw after Mania is like the season premiere.
Exactly.
And which I'm glad it looks like this coming WrestleMania, the draft is going to happen after that, which makes sense from a storyline standpoint. If all your major storylines wrap up at WrestleMania, the following week should be, the start of new, fresh storylines for throughout the summer.
Not 3 weeks before Survivor Series, where you get drafted from Raw to SmackDown, and all of a sudden you've been on Raw for the last year or so, and you go, I'm loyal to SmackDown now. Why?
Exactly.
Why? You were just on Raw for a year.
So I don't know, maybe like I'm just trying to think, hey, Triple H, if you're listening right now, we can help out here creatively. So, maybe put King of the Ring in June, get rid of Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank can be on night 1 and night 2. Maybe the men's Money in the Bank night 1, women's Money in the Bank could be night 2. I don't know, just throwing it out there. No.
I like that because what I said now, you negated what I said about it fills up too much WrestleMania. No, now you have 1 and 1. I didn't think about the 2 nights. Totally just, yeah.
Yeah, so... But I love King of the Ring coming back. I was a big fan of King of the Ring. I mean, look, my favorite wrestler, Stone Cold, his career got born or, took off after King of the Ring. Triple H, other people, Owen Hart, Bret Hart. Like, how many legendary King of the Ring pay-per-views in the 90s took place?
Yeah, I don't mind it being at the Crown Jewel show because, the winner of the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown is getting their Crown Jewel, as we saw last year.
Okay. Well, will Triple H decide on that? Right. But the thing is that's what I'm getting at is like I like the idea of King of the Ring as a dedicated pay-per-view, and then the winners maybe get a title shot after that for maybe SummerSlam or something. Like
there's an idea, like Brock did in 2002.
So I like the idea. I'm all for getting rid of the gimmick pay-per-views only and just. That way you're not forcing certain storylines to match whatever gimmick. Or gimmick, I'm sorry.
Because some can say, King of the Ring's a gimmick.
Yeah, sorry. Gimmick matches, pay-per-views. I'm all for that. That way you're not forced certain storylines because, oh my God, it's on the calendar. We got to do this. Instead, bring back some other... And with that being said, if you get rid of these gimmick match pay-per-views, you can bring back some old cool names for the pay-per-views. Like you said, Unforgiven, No Mercy. They have some legendary names.
There's a rumor that they may use more WCW names for NXT shows next year.
Okay. But I would love Halloween Havoc to be on the main roster. I would love that. And then listen, I know Day One is, allegedly canceled. And there's nothing going on between Survivor Series to Royal Rumble.
That's a long time.
If December, which the pros is, okay, that gives more emphasis to the television, like have big matches, like pay-per-view quality matches on the week-to-week television to fill that couple-month gap there between shows. The other thing is, I would love if in December they bring back Starrcade. I know they tried to do Starrcade as like a WWE Network special, but it was like more like a glorified house show that we're just watching cameras filming it. I would love like Starrcade came back and made a big deal in December. Have Halloween Havoc in October. The possibilities as a fan is really exciting in that sense. If you get rid of the gimmick match pay-per-view names and that frees up other names to either bring back or create, that's what I'm thinking, like Starrcade, Halloween Havoc, Unforgiven, whatever these different names that they can bring back. That's where I'm all for of this change here. So as a fan, that's what I'm hopeful what this is going to lead to. King of the Ring, all that stuff. So yeah, it's I'm excited. Like I said, to Triple H's credit, in the last 3 months, I think him and his team have really earned a lot of goodwill back with the WWE Universe. I would say, is that a safe assumption to make?
Yes, but not after this week's Raw for some reason. I don't know why people hated this week's Raw. Maybe because all the Vince distraction finishes. But basically, I don't know how many tweets I saw saying, "Oh, Triple H already lost it. This week's Raw sucked. Look at all the finishes. He's booking like Vince already. He's burnt out. He's already lost everything he built with over the like what?"
Yeah, well,
what?
All right, well, let's go. Yeah, let's jump right into it. I like that. Perfect segue. So, yeah, let's talk about some of the highlights from Monday Night Raw this week. I'm with you. I did not watch Raw live, but I saw on Twitter a lot of people complaining about this.
Yeah.
They're just going through the motions, or they're just killing time, just get through Crown Jewel, and after Crown Jewel, they'll kind of kick things up for Survivor Series.
The reason everybody, for the most part, I think, complained is because the only match of, I want to say 5 matches, maybe 6, the only match that didn't have a distraction finish was Omos against 4 guys.
Yes.
And it went 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Yeah, he destroyed those guys. Was one of those guys from the NWA? I couldn't tell.
I don't even remember who they were.
So, well, okay. Once again, Monday Night Raw kicked off with Judgment Day, which it's interesting. You know, Triple H is really, I guess, in many ways, has kind of repaired Judgment Day's presentation, how the fans maybe view them. They've been kicking off Raw a lot lately in the last few weeks.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Dominic Mysterio's learning how to be a heel, and he's getting better every week.
Yeah, man. You know, cut that promo and said, you know, I'm this generation's Eddie Guerrero. Actually, better yet, Eddie Guerrero was his generation's Dominic Mysterio. The crowd was just erupting. Yeah. And when they were in SAP Center last month, I was there. That booze, the booze that Dominic got, and like Judgment Day stopped, and like Finn was like looking around, like it was intense. I've not seen someone get booed that hard in a long time. So Dominic, you know, criticize him either how he's on the mic or his in-ring skills, whatever. He has some good heat going right now. Yeah. So it's working. And Judgment Day as a whole, you know, it's been very exciting. So it looks like, you know, the program with AJ Styles, the OC, Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers are back in WWE, and it looks like they're going to have a match at Crown Jewel, which I do want to talk about Carl Anderson real quick in a second.
There's a lot. There's a lot. He said more.
Yeah. So the match itself, Finn Balor wins, beats Carl Anderson after Rhea Ripley came in, was able to do the low blow on Carl Anderson. But right before that, the body slam heard around the world. She body slam Gallows. What'd you think about that? It was awesome. She was like, you know, in his face, too sweet, too sweet, too sweet. No. That was awesome.
I mean, I saw a lot of comparisons. Oh, they're making her the new China. They're making her the new China. No, she's the first Rhea Ripley. Because the reason I don't want you to compare her to China is because as an in-ring performer, she's leaps and bounds better than China.
Exactly.
Maybe she doesn't have yet the amount of star recognition China eventually did. But look who China was surrounded by.
Oh, yeah.
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, eventually Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, X-Pac.
Rick Rude, too.
She had bigger names around her. Yeah, Finn Balor is known worldwide because Prince Devitt and all that, and Mysterio.
But the Attitude Era. They had like
more people were watching. 3 times as many people were watching every week.
Exactly, 8 share every week. Yeah,
yeah. But I think it was great. And yes, Gallows assisted on that lift, but at one point she made it look like she was lifting him with one arm.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Awesome.
It was great, and so. I laughed the backstage segment when the OC are back there and Carl Anderson has the ice pack on his crotch and he's making the old face, which if anyone watches Being the Elite, he was making that same face. I forgot the name of the character he does on Being the Elite, where it's like he's like squinching his face.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like, ow. So I was laughing, like anyone who's a fan of Being the Elite, like recognized the face Carl Anderson was making. But Gallows said, I can handle this. Next break, he comes back. He got beat up too by Rhea Ripley, apparently. But apparently they have a female to help out with the Rhea situation here. So any guesses who they can get to recruit to kind of deal with Rhea Ripley?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is, and maybe because they slightly teased something of this over the last couple of weeks with Raquel going to NXT and her saying her and Raquel used to be friends and they're not anymore. Raquel, maybe? They bring her over from SmackDown. Because they did the whole thing of, Roxanne Perez picked Raquel, my old friend. So you want me to face your old friend? Sure. So maybe there's something in that.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I could think of. Other than that, I have no earthly idea.
Yeah, I mean, we could speculate for hours here, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they get. So I wonder, it could be Beth Phoenix because, she got taken out at Extreme Rules. So it's going to be interesting to see who they got here. But there is some New Japan related news, and I believe you have more info on that. So Carl Anderson is actually double booked on the Saturday of Crown Jewel weekend. So New Japan's threatening if he can't show up and defend his title, the never openweight title, that they're going to strip him.
The more these people talk, the more, and I don't know this, the more these people talk, the more I think it's a gimmick, it's a work, it's a storyline. Because Carl Anderson's double booked. He's supposed to defend the never openweight championship against Hikuleo on November 5th. Yet, that match gets announced October 4th. Then, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, it gets announced Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, will be teaming with AJ Styles against Judgment Day at Crown Jewel. Same day, November 5th. Then everyone starts asking the question, Carl, what are you doing? Carl, what are you doing? Him and Gallows put out a video saying, oh, well, we're going where the money is. That's WWE. We'll be at Crown Jewel.
Okay.
Carl tries to say, you didn't go through the big LG. He's my booking agent. We didn't know you booked this match. So, no, I can show up whenever I want to defend my title. Hikuleo then says, oh, I only want the match if it's against Carl. Then New Japan comes out and goes, no. If we announce that our champion is going to defend their title, they're going to be there to defend their title. Then New Japan puts out another statement. Oh, well, if Carl don't show up on November 5th in Osaka, we'll strip him of the belt. Well, Carl Anderson this morning tweeted out the following.
Okay.
I'm not vacating anything. I'm the greatest never openweight champion of all time. I'll defend it on my time. Get with my booking agent, the big LG. I'll see you then at Hikuleo. That's too sweet.
It's a total work, brother.
It's gotta be.
It's a total work at this point. So I don't know what's going to happen. Either some people are speculating maybe Crown Jewel is a little bit of a swerve. So right now it's the OC versus Judgment Day. But theoretically, maybe on the go-home show of Raw next week, they do a switch, and whoever female wrestler they bring in to counter Rhea Ripley, maybe that person can take Carl's spot. And
I don't know.
It could be intergender match.
Or
it could be mixed match. Yeah, it could be AJ Gallows and their female wrestler versus Finn, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley.
But the whole thing is, how do you get Carl out of that? Do you actually do a backstage segment where he goes, I'm double booked, brother. I need to figure out a way out of it. Like,
I mean, unless they beat him up somehow, but then medically cleared. But he goes to Japan.
You can't do the injury, because that's the first thing I was thinking. You can't do the injury angle and then him show up the same day at New Japan, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, well," because then you got Finn coming out here going, "Oh, you're scared of me? You ran to Japan because you didn't want to fight me again."
Which, by the way, I love Finn's promo. You guys, the club you guys talk about, it's the one I started. You guys are living off my legacy. Like, they don't flat out say Bullet Club, but I love how they're really acknowledging New Japan, their history there. And it's really crazy, man. If you think about it, how many Bullet Club members, past and present, are kind of dominating all of wrestling right now. In WWE, AJ, Finn, the Good Brothers, AEW, obviously all the ones there, Impact, their connection. It's really amazing, the family tree of Bullet Club members who are like all over the whole wrestling landscape right now. But
yes and no, because Bullet Club has, in the last year and a half, turned into more WCW, NWO, where it's just like, who's in this now? Chris Bay?
Impact. They got all these guys. Yes, I know. No, but that's the thing. It's like, but I do love that Finn's like, you guys wouldn't be anything without me. I started this club. So I love that Finn's acknowledging it. Finally, he's acknowledging it. So, but yeah, no, we'll see what happens here. But I do think it's a little bit of work now, like New Japan. Because didn't New Japan even retweet some WWE stuff? And it's
their re-debut.
Okay, yeah. So, I think there's a light, friendly working relationship going on here, or at least the Good Brothers are trying to fulfill any last minute obligations with New Japan before, now, all the WWE stuff.
If this is more than just storyline for Gallows for Anderson, and it's more of no New Japan and WWE working together on this. That pissed off Tony Khan. I said I was the Khan that got the deal with New Japan, not the other one. Remember that drunk ass promo he did?
That's right.
There was the rumors of which I had confirmed.
Yeah.
In a freaking, I guess you could say, virtual meet and greet. Someone sent me the video of Bryan Danielson telling him, yeah, and WWE has talked with New Japan about we might maybe doing dates there if I stay. And so that's when Tony Khan went on his soapbox of, no, they'll never work with them. I'm the only Khan that works with New Japan.
That's right. Yeah, I remember
What if
that.
WWE and New Japan are now working together? Because, I mean...
It's crazy, man.
You've got, like you said, how many former New Japan champions in WWE that they would love to... Wrestle Kingdom's on a Wednesday next week. Who doesn't work Wednesday? WWE. You got AJ, you got Gallows, you got Anderson, you got Finn, you've got Nakamura.
Why haven't they have like a WWE invasion?
Oh, Lord. They tried that last year with the group for their, fifth night of Wrestle Kingdom 4 weeks later.
Oh, is that the one with Noah? With Pro Wrestling Noah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom's 3 nights, but the third night's in a week and a half after the first 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll run 3 shows in between that.
So, we'll see. Crown Jewel is going to be, or next Saturday is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. A lot of eyeballs.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, at the morning show, I believe that the New Japan November 5th show would only be a few hours before that. Because
Could he fly? No.
Well, no, it's not logistically going to work. But just timing-wise, if Crown Jewel is, say, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
November 5th in Japan is the day before, technically. So that New Japan show would be wrapping up only maybe 4 or 5 hours before Crown Jewel starting. So we'll know a lot coming even before Crown Jewel.
Yeah, so Friday night in that Saturday morning, we'll see how that plays out. Interesting. We'll see. Let's see. Real quick, I just want to ask you, I'm really tired of this Dexter Lumis Miz storyline. I feel it's really burnt out. Johnny Gargano's getting involved now in like telling the Miz, hey, he's walking around with the whistle. Like, I'm a whistleblower. You tell them there's a reason why Lumis is after you. If you don't explain yourself, I'm going to tell everyone. It's just like, I'm just so tired of it. Like, where is this going? It's been nonstop.
Do you believe they're going to tell the truth next week? Because remember, was it last week was supposed to be it when they fought and then they didn't even have the match?
Yeah, because last week was supposed to be Lumis. Because I thought the storyline was Lumis trying to get a WWE contract.
Exactly.
But now that's not even the case now. It's like a Miz hiding a secret, which I'm like, quit. Like, it's just one of those storylines that WWE has, and they've done this for years, where they'll have like this lingering storyline that just goes on and on and on. And this is just the latest example.
Right.
Which I'm like, I hope the payoff is worth it. But at this point, I think a lot of people are just burnt out already. I don't know if whatever the secret, the big reveal is going to be justified for our time. I think we're all a little burnt out and frustrated or annoyed. Yeah.
All that backstage stuff we saw leading up to this, possibly with the wrecked car and other different things where the cops had to come. And was that all Dexter? We don't even know. Was that Dexter Lumis? Was that Bray Wyatt?
That is true. Yeah.
We don't even know what all that was supposed to be.
So, that's a good point. No, we never got the definitive answer of was that all supposed to be Dexter Lumis or the timing of it. I don't know, but like I'm just trying to think, what could Miz possibly be hiding that Johnny knows, and it's gonna be a big reveal. On a side note, so Ciampa, Miz said my buddy Ciampa's been gone, but now it's been revealed he had hip surgery, so he's gonna be out 9 months, so speedy recovery.
I don't know about 9 months. What I read was minimum of 4.
Oh, okay, great then. Yeah,
maybe. I don't know how bad his was. All we know is it was bad enough to where whatever the muscle and the labrum in his hip, his wife said looked like shredded cheese.
Ugh! Ow!
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Well,
that's the extent of all we know, because he said his wife watched the whole thing take like the whole surgery.
Oh my God! Well, I hope he's speedy recovery and come back by WrestleMania season. So, ow. Well, so Anyway, I just feel like at this point, I'm just gonna be. We're all just over it. So, but I do. Yeah.
Well, the one final thing on this, my whole What I wanted to see out of this whole thing, the payoff at the end, was Dexter kept abducting the Miz so that way Johnny can get to Ciampa and be like, what are you doing? We're DIY. You don't need to be with this guy. Be with the better Cleveland wrestler.
Yeah, I'm all for that too. But now if he's injured,
exactly,
that's all on hold now. So
pivot.
Yeah, well, and a little bit of a pivot. It looks like Johnny Gargano right now is busy with Baron Corbin, which I want to get your thoughts on Baron Corbin now working with JBL, the wrestling god himself. I'm kind of baffled. Like, why is Baron Corbin with JBL? Like, Baron Corbin doesn't need JBL. He's a good talker on his own. I mean, like, JBL you think is a good mouthpiece for someone, but Baron Corbin doesn't need it. Like, we saw like last month, he left SmackDown, jumped in the limo, and then part of the Rey Mysterio trade, Rey Mysterio to SmackDown, JBL and Baron Corbin on Raw.
Where do you really need the trade when Alpha Academy's on both shows every 3 weeks?
I know exactly. I mean, I guess from a logistics here, storyline, okay, like finally they're explaining why someone from another show is showing up on the other one. They're actually explaining it. If it was Vince, who just showed up randomly. But I don't know. Like, Baron Corbin, like, okay, he changed his outfit a little. He got some actual ring gear again. But he still's got the same music. JBL's coming out as his mouthpiece and jumping on commentary. I don't know. I guess they're both rich guys, so that's the connection there. And JBL was putting him over big time on the commentary this week.
I still don't know how Baron got rich off of $20 in Vegas in a couple of hours. Trust me. I go to the casino. You don't know. It don't work like that.
That's the Park MGM Casino. When those videos, like, I was in that lobby that same weekend. That was that SummerSlam weekend in Vegas. Like, I recognized that lobby, or the casino itself. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess it's cool. It gives Baron Corbin something new to deal with. Yeah, it's something different. The new modern day wrestling god. I guess that's how he's going to be kind of building himself with JBL.
Well, put some respect. It's wrestling god.
That's right. And I like it. Was it? And they were in Charlotte this week. North Kakalaki.
Well, everyone from North Carolina says that.
Yeah, but it was cool to hear that on TV again.
Well, what did JBL call them? North Kakalaks or something like that?
But like, it's cool seeing JBL back as a character again. Like, he's great on the mic and great calling out every city that they've been in the last couple of weeks and taking shots at each city.
Now, with Corbin, really fast, did you hear Kevin Patrick called his finisher?
Oh, the
ring around the Rosie.
Ring around the Rosie. And Corey Graves like, why you the deep six? That's the deep six.
Yeah, put some respect on that. And then JBL, oh, you still got a job here, Shamrock? They kept you another week?
Which, actually, what do you think of the new commentary teams for Raw, SmackDown, NXT?
I like SmackDown because I've always been a big fan of Wade Barrett on commentary, whether that was back when he was doing the NWA or NXT or whatever. But yeah, I think Kevin Patrick's still got a lot to go by, like learn. Because especially that first week. Not as much this week, but that first week. You could tell Corey took the helm and he was Jerry Lawler in a video game spitting out his liners. Yeah.
Well, and also Kevin for his credit, I know you know his thick Irish accent. I felt like this week he was really like over enunciate, like really not trying to that
Someone
accent.
Had noticed that. I noticed that a couple of times.
He was really being like extra clear, like it really like that accent. He was trying to tone down the accent a little bit.
Never, it's whatever to me. Like I didn't have a problem. It was more of he sounded like people were feeding him lines, especially that first week.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. But I'm with you. And then I Booker T on NXT, it's cool. I mean,
Shucky ducky.
I'm a Booker fan, so I think it's cool. But yeah, I'm still wondering what's going to be up with Pat McAfee post college season, if he's going to come back and then go 3-man booth or.
Well, I would assume Booker's just till they put Wade back to NXT.
Gotcha.
Wade.
Okay.
I have no knowledge on this, but I would assume Wade's on SmackDown. Pat's ready to come back. Pat rejoins Michael Cole. Wade goes back to NXT, and they go, Booker, thanks.
Yeah.
If we need you again, we'll see you at the next pay-per-view.
We'll see you in August, next football season.
Well, that, or we'll see you at the next pay-per-view for the kickoff show.
Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, Johnny and Corbin go at it. Corbin picks up the win after JBL interferes.
One of the best Corbin matches I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Johnny, give him credit. I'm glad, it was bummed seeing Johnny lose here, but I get it from the standpoint you got to rebuild Corbin as the big monster heel here. So I get that. And then, with JBL helping out, JBL interfered. So that kind of covers up Gargano's loss here. It was like a 2-on-1 in that sense. Right.
And also they didn't just, they squashed the smaller guy to the big man. No, Johnny got a lot of offense.
Exactly. So, but yeah, with Corbin, what's next with him and JBL? I'm intrigued about this new partnership here. But in the main event, though, we saw Bayley take on Bianca Belair. Great match here. We saw Nikki Cross come in, make her big return, interfere, pushes Bianca into the ring post and hits a finisher on her. And then Bayley rolls or, puts her arm on her and picks up the win. A big win for Bayley on paper. Bianca doesn't lose that much. Mm-hmm. So 2 parts here. Your thoughts on Bianca picking up a rare TV loss and Nikki Cross's big return?
So we knew Nikki was ditching the superhero thing because I don't remember how many weeks ago it was, but we kept seeing in the background Nikki and Doudrop arguing, and eventually there was one time where Nikki threw the mask at her. Mm-hmm. So we knew eventually that was coming off. But my question is, triple threat? Because not only did Nikki attack Bianca to help Bayley win, but then she went after Bayley after the match. So could this be leading to some sort of a triple threat with the 3? And that way Bayley pins Nikki, Bianca doesn't have to take the pin, and they can put the title on Bayley. Damage Control's got it all.
Gotcha. Okay. I could totally see that here. I'm also fascinated because where does this lead to War Games as well? So I'm already thinking ahead post Crown Jewel, the War Game match.
Okay. So Bianca, Candice, Bliss, Asuka, but Asuka may actually be out injured, so I don't know 100%. No. Some have said that knee injury may have been real, or it's kind of they're hopeful it's not kind of thing.
When they took out Candice off camera this week,
that was weird that they didn't show it.
Yeah, they pushed the camera away and beat her up.
So then on the other side, you've got Damage Control and Nikki, 4-4.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of... Because Damage Control, since there are only 3 people, I'm like, they're going to have to add some people to kind of,
I keep saying on my stuff, maybe a little Indy Hartwell comes in and joins Damage Control. You got Candice on the other side. Bada bing, there you go.
Perfect. Writes itself. Mm-hmm. I'm all for that. But yeah, Bianca, I was a little surprised they pinned Bianca, but I get it. She got outnumbered again. And that's her big thing. Is she's... I'm not saying Super Cena territory, but she's definitely in recent weeks, Clash at the Castle and, on TV, she's doing her best trying to take down multiple people at the same time.
She was Super Cena at Extreme Rules when she took out all of Damage Control by herself and basically made us think, well, Damage Control ain't a threat no more if Bianca can take all 3 of them on her own.
Yeah, so like I said, it was a little surprising that they pinned Bianca here. Yeah. But then again, like I said, I think it's setting up the Nikki Cross element now in her big return. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But SmackDown, I do want to ask you a couple quick questions here. I know we're running out of time. Bray Wyatt makes his big return. I haven't had a chance to talk about Bray Wyatt back in WWE. Right. I'm super happy now to see him back, make his big return at Extreme Rules. And then 2-part here. So the week before, he cuts that emotional promo, and I think a lot of people are speculating that's more just Wyndham Rotunda just talking just from the heart about where he's been and just his time away from WWE and what it meant for him to, he thought he was done, his career was gone, but the fans really lifted his spirits back up and he wanted to come back for them. Really emotional promo, cut short, ended on a cliffhanger with the mask that he's been wearing, the new mask, kind of talking and what's that going to lead to, that cliffhanger. This week on SmackDown, we saw Bray cut this promo backstage and he's like, I'm going to do a lot of I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm going to do a lot of bad things and I'm going to show no remorse for it. Right. So get your thoughts on that heartfelt promo his first week back and now this new promo this week. So kind of where you think Bray is going with all this.
So I really liked the first promo, and the interesting thing in that first promo was he said, I heard Bray's words. He didn't say I said or what. He said, I heard Bray's words, which is an interesting line to basically allude to Bray Wyatt is either another man or another split personality of himself. He's didn't say it, but he's Wyndham. Bray Wyatt is another man. But also, last week on SmackDown, we saw another masked person with like a hat on and like a weird mustache who some think might be Vincent of Ring of Honor fame, recently Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. So there have been reports that, they might be signed coming over to WWE, which I'm excited. I'm totally along with this journey, especially on the Triple H's vision. I know Triple H did... was it Logan Paul's interview, his podcast, where he talks about, he knows Bray's such a creative mind, but
that was the Ariel Helwani one,
which he's all for, trying to, he wants Bray to be creative, but his job is to kind of keep him in control.
He basically tried to say and not say at the same time he's difficult to work with, because he basically was like, hey, when you have someone that creative that can come up with so many ideas and pitch so many different things at one time, it does get difficult when you don't know which way to go.
Yeah. So I'm like you said, I'm excited where this goes. Now, a lot of people are speculating why it's 6. Do you think this is a new faction, or does it represent 6 different personalities? Do you have a preference?
That's a tough one, because
I'm kind of leaning towards the personalities.
Well, that's what I would have said at first until the 5 or maybe 4 or whatever they were took the photo backstage at Extreme Rules of everyone in the costumes.
Oh, that's right.
That made me think, okay, maybe they are supposed to be real wrestlers. Maybe they are supposed to be a group and not the 6 personalities of Bray or whatever. So that's where I don't know. I would hope that he doesn't have a 6-man group, and maybe it's a smaller group. Because, I mean, it's like we said earlier with Bullet Club. They're just getting too many people in there, and it's, you're who? Huh? What?
Yeah.
If you have too many people, and like, it's working, but you can't add anybody else to the bloodline.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. No, it's way too big. Well, real quick, bloodline, your thoughts on this week? They took out Sheamus this week, bust his arm open. I love everything they're doing. The Sami Zayn stuff is golden.
Oh,
I think,
where's
this leading to? I think eventually it's going to lead to him and Kevin Owens rejoining. I think, long-term plan, Sami Zayn's going to get kicked out, beat up, rejoin Kevin Owens, best friends come back together, eventually win the tag titles off the Usos. I think that's the long-term goal. But I'm digging this. It's, with Roman away, Sami doing an amazing job holding down the fort each week. I love it. It's been great stuff.
Well, even the character work with Jey Uso has been really amazing as well. And him and Sammy and that dynamic. And then, unfortunately, you have Solo Sikoa and Jimmy in the background. Yeah. But still playing a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Supporting roles. But it's all Jay and Sammy and their relationship. And it's almost, for some reason, coming off to me like Jay... You can't trust Sammy. Like, for some reason, they're the baby faces and Sammy's the heel, which is weird. Like, he's trying to tell Roman, you can't trust Sammy. You can't trust Sammy. He's like, but why? What has Sammy done? No, Sammy's the one that wants to be with the cool kids. It ain't like Sammy's the guy that no one can trust. But I do think the end game is eventually, we're going to get Roman and Sheamus here coming up probably. And then they kick out Sammy somehow, and it leads to Sammy and Kevin being finally the ones to beat the Usos for the titles.
And, the storyline with Jay, like the hothead, can't control his emotions, can't trust Sammy. This week, we saw he got involved trying to take out Logan Paul, and Sammy came running out. I said, "Don't! Roman told you not to mess with him." And sure enough, Logan Paul hit that one lucky punch on Jay, so made him look like a fool. So I wonder if this week on SmackDown we'll get some repercussions. Will Roman punish Jay somehow? So that's fascinating, and like the storyline how it's progressing. So.
Also, just so everybody listening knows, this week is a double taping for SmackDown. Because the next week they're going to be in Saudi. They can't do a SmackDown the night before Saudi, so there will be spoilers Friday night, just so everyone listening are aware.
And it'll be on FS1 this week as well?
Yes, because there's the World Series on Fox.
Gotcha. So, oh man, so much good stuff to look forward to. Tim, listen, I know you got to run right now, but hey, I thank you so much for making the time. Cover a lot right there. So please tell the Kliqsters, where can they find you online?
You can find all my content everywhere you find Pro Wrestling Unlimited, either on YouTube, prowrestling.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or you can find us on Twitch or Twitter at PW Unlimited. I mean, I've been trying to get the at PW Unlimited for YouTube, but apparently there's a channel that's got it that's been around longer than me somehow. I don't know, with no subscribers or anything, but whatever. You can also find me and all my personal work, whether that's my graphic designer, photography work, at Timmy Buddy. So, awesome. all around dabbling in different little things.
Tim, like I've told you many times before, you're the hardest working man in the pro wrestling news industry. I can't thank you enough for all your help for everything.
Anytime.
So, but yeah, I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq. If you want to email me, inthekliq@gmail.com. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share all the interviews, videos, all that stuff on our YouTube channel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts at. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.